Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching. Every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, we get to share information. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. Now, I have to tell you something about the talk show host on the Newscasters. It's Newscasters Studio. So if you get your feelings hurt really easy, you don't even want to go there, because these people really get on there and they speak the truth. I mean, even stuff at us. I mean, it's not only liberals they make fun of and talk down, it's also conservatives. So go on ahead and take a look. You might find there's a whole new way of life. Absolutely. Okay, speaking of a whole new way of life, I have a friend right here. His name is Rick Staines. He's a security specialist and different jobs, of course. You know, I had this corporate job, and I used to fly all over the United States and flown out of the country several times, and you've had the same type jobs where you've flown, and we've done this, a couple of decades, me a little bit longer because I'm a little bit older than you are. But I remember how I used to take a flight a long time ago was kind of different than it is now. Would you say so? Times have changed.
Very much so. Yeah, times have changed. Yeah, it's my whole thing about travel, flying, especially these days, is that I dislike it immensely, as opposed to 20 years ago when I really enjoyed flying. It's just a completely different animal now, and I don't know if it's because of the airline industry. I don't think it's because of it's personal, people, or if it's just an amalgamation of everything. I think the one thing that really annoys me now is because people are too lazy to or want to check a bag, because they've got their time's valuable. They want to get off. They want to get to where they're going. I understand that. So they have to pack everything in the kitchen sink into as many bags as they can. And then they literally scramble to get on board first to take up all of the luggage area in the space around where they're sitting. So you've got nowhere to put your bag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
That's frustrating. But
and
I remember back in the early. Go ahead.
You get when you get on a small plane, because I always check the plane that I'm flying on, so I make sure that my bag, and I only carry one bag. I carry a backpack, and I know that it will fit in every plane that I travel. If I'm carrying a bigger bag, I check what plane I'm flying on first, because I've seen people get on a plane and it's one of these little Embraer jets and the overheads are literally zero. You might get a backpack in there, you might get a handbag in there, but you are not going to get a roll-on. And they bring on a roll-on and you look at them going like, yeah, good luck with that one. And they get all the way at the back, and then you see them coming all the way back down again with the bag, and you go like, yeah, I could have told you that, but you didn't think about it. Because I'd have been like straight away, I'd have gone like, oh God, I'm going to get in there. Or, even standing outside the plane looking on. So, yeah, it's all changed.
Oh, yeah. And let's start with dress code. Because when I was with GTE, it was a corporate job. So I handled their government and corporate accounts. So I could fly wherever. So this was in the dress code. We had dress codes back in those days. This is in the 80s. And so part of the dress code was when you're flying, you would have to wear a suit. Women should wear at least 2 inches heels in their heels, not a bunch of flashy jewelry, stuff like that. So I would have to wear a business suit when I got on the plane. And this is the thing about it. Even everyday people who were just flying to go see their parents would wear suits as well. And I remember sitting by people saying, what company are you with? And they'd say, no company. I'm just going to visit my parents in, whatever city we were going in. And man, that has changed. If I were to walk on a plane now with a suit on, it was like people would freak.
Well, yeah, I mean, people do travel in suits. I mean, but again, I used to travel especially for the airline, and I worked for Continental and American. You had to, if you were traveling, even if it was on vacation, and you wanted to get an upgrade, you had to put dress clothes on. You couldn't wear jeans. I tried it once, wear a khaki pair of jeans, and the woman was like, she argued with me for like 20 minutes. She said, they're jeans. And I'm like, they're khaki. She said, they are jeans and you're not getting first class. And I could have had a first class seat, and I didn't get it because I was wearing jeans, and she knew about it. You had to wear proper trousers. You had to wear a jacket. and you had to look presentable, like business, like a business person, to get first class. Otherwise, you wouldn't get it. And it was kind of nice. I mean, if you look at the old ads, there was one the other day that I saw from way back when there's so much room in the plane, and they give you this this dinner, and it was all just the cutlery and the glasses and everything, and you're thinking, and because obviously the caption was like, well, just imagine what it's going to be like in 50 years time. And 50 years time, and you're lucky if you get a metal spoon or a metal fork or a metal knife, plastic cups, and you get this pretty pre-made meal that's just rubbish. Snacks if you're really lucky, everything's in bottles, and it's even the wine. They give you wine, and you go have a white wine, and it's the cheapest, nastiest Chardonnay, because I don't know if you know anything about wine. Chardonnay can be really nice, but it can also be like rocket fuel, and you normally get the rocket fuel version when you go on planes because they have the cheap bottles. It's just nasty, So yeah, everything's changed with travel. It's just become it's basically moving people from one place to the other, charging them most amount of money, giving you very little for that value for that money, in my opinion.
And that seems to be in everything. It's like you're paying more and you're getting less.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, even in the UK, you've got Ryanair, and Ryanair used to they've just changed their rules again, that if you checked in at home, if you did your check-in online, it was free. If you went to the airport to check in, because you didn't check in online, they would charge you an extra £5. Now they've done something else, and they've taken that online check-in away, so that you have to check in at the airport, so you have to pay the extra £5. And it's like, when does it stop? They literally just rob you blind for every penny that you've got. I'm lucky. If you work out how you travel, I don't pay for any baggage. I never pay for any baggage. That's because I have an American Express card. I have an American Express card with the airline. You don't pay for baggage. Save yourself 30.
Yeah, that prices went way up. How much is baggage now if you check it in?
It depends. 30 to $35. Sometimes some airlines charge you more, 50. I can have up to 3 bags if I'm flying first class. Free. Because again, my credit card charges me X amount per year, and that encompasses a whole lot of things. So when you work it out, I'm actually saving money by not paying all of these fees for the baggage, but it's expensive. That's why people then carry it on, because they don't want to pay that baggage fee. And then they've made it it's unbearable now in trying to get your bags into an overhead, because I've seen people go, they put their bag in there, they put their handbag in there, then they put their coat in there, and then they may have bought something from the gift shop and they put that in there. That leaves you very little place to put your bag. I actually had one person ask me to move could you move your bag? No. They're like, why? I'm like, well, because that's where my bag is going. But you've only got a small bag and you've got nothing under your seat. I said, I don't care. I don't want it under my seat, because otherwise, what's the point of having the extra leg room? So it's staying there, and they got mad at me. But it's like, I don't care.
Well, some people just want to be rude. Because we were flying, Phil and I were flying somewhere, and I don't know why they did this. We wanted to be seated together. So I was sitting here, a guy was here, Phil was by the window. And so I just simply asked the guy, do you mind switching seats with one of us? Well, he had a bad attitude. I mean, he's just a grouchy kind of a guy. And he looked at me and said, I guess I'll have to live with it. And I said, no, that's okay, really. But because Phil and I were talking to each other. We were actually talking business. We had these stores and we were talking. I just thought the guy would appreciate us not talking over him. He would have complained about that. So
that just makes no sense. Yeah. Why would you not want to? Nobody I know willingly sits in a middle seat. Everybody I know hates middle seats.
I don't like middle seats.
No, the only thing that you get in the middle seat by, generic law is you get both armrests, if you're lucky. If
Not when I'm sitting here, because I'm doing this.
They will give you both armrests because you're in the middle. So normally you surrender it up for the person in the middle. I've had it before where I've had nothing and I'm just sitting there I'm like this. You know,
Especially with the seats now.
yeah. I had a guy on the inside. He was tall. He was literally wrapped around like the fuselage. He couldn't drink his coffee without doing this. This guy on the end, his legs were so long that they were all crunched up, and there's me in the middle like this trying to drink my coffee. We look, it just looks so bad.
You look like big man in a little car. I mean, that's
it wasn't
basically
fun.
what you look like.
It wasn't fun.
Man, I remember when first class was first class. Now, I've never paid, and the companies I was with would never pay for me to be on first class. But a couple of times, several times, I got kicked up. It's like, I guess because I spoke to the airline, the flight attendants, I was nice to them. So when they had an empty spot up there, I've been asked several times, you want first class? I'd go, sure. And so I would get up there, and it was a different world back then. Now, I don't know about now, but it was a different world than sitting in the back there.
Yeah, it used to be that they would give you complimentary upgrades. It's very, very rare these days because it's going to go to people on international flights. They will just they won't do it. I mean, they'll fly with empty seats. They're not going to put you in a $5,000 seat. It's as simple as that. It used to be that they would give you a complimentary, but now they don't. On obviously domestic flights here, they'll upgrade you, but you have to be a mileage member. You have to earn that point. So, I mean, I get upgraded, but if there are people above me because they've got, higher status, then they go before me. That's just the way it is. But first class, I got upgraded traveling back, actually traveling from Savannah to Detroit. And I got one of the new little cabin booths, stretch you out, and you've got you've got your own screen, and you've got a little wall there, and you're all encompassed in your own little thing. And Tanya was so mad because she was like, that was the one thing she wanted to do. And as soon as I got in there, as soon as I knew I was got upgraded and I walked in there, I was like, oh, this is like Delta One, because that's what they call it, Delta One. And so I took pictures and I sent them to her. She goes like, I don't believe you've got that. How did you get that? Oh, I don't know. I said, but it's lovely. You should try it sometime. she literally
naughty.
The next flight she got it, so it was like a precursor for her getting it, and then she was like sending me pictures, going like, I finally got it. I'm like, yeah, but I was first, so I know what it's like. It's okay.
Yeah, but when you think about it, really, shouldn't first class be in the back? Because in the back is the safest place of the whole airplane. I mean, it crashes down. Most of the survivors are in the back, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, the mentality is it doesn't work like that. You'd think, and I can tell you right now, when we used to load the planes, we loaded them from the back to the front because it was actually easier to load the back to the front. But now they don't do that. They do the front to the back. Which
then you have to, and I hate that because then you're having to wait on some really slow person who can't decide whether they want to put their luggage up there on the top or they're having too many decisions.
We used to do it by rows, and but then you see, because you had to have personnel on the door checking the boarding cards to make sure that the row that you'd called is the roads that were boarding. So, you had to be very vigilant, and people would try and get on there quick, to get their seat and whatever else, because that's just the way that, people travel is they're more worried about putting where to get their bags and getting comfortable. So whatever way you do it, and I've seen it done both ways, as soon as they say we're boarding, everybody stands up and just blocks away. And, and you see everybody first class go in, and then, and you still got these people that have been standing there for like 20 minutes. And you're like, well, why did you stand up?
Yeah, I want to ask somebody that. Why are you standing up? Are you first class? It's obvious looking at you, you're probably not first class. Why are you standing up now?
If you're an American, you're group 9, then you're going to be last to board. And if you are main 2, then on Delta, you're going to be last to board. You shouldn't even be standing up. Just chill. Just chill with it, and you'll get on eventually.
Does that make sense? Okay, I want to hurry up, and I want to get on the plane so I can be comfortable, but I'm uncomfortable waiting 15 minutes while the first class is, I don't understand that mentality.
It used to be a pleasure, but now it's not. It's all just stress. It's all stress until you get on there. And, it's like normally when I get first class, I'm asleep. because it's a big seat and I'm asleep. And Tanya will go like, well, you don't really enjoy it. I'm like, I obviously do because I'm asleep. And then I'm, snoring.
I guess that's a good way to look at it.
I'm asleep before we've even pushed away from the gate. I wake up 20 minutes into the flight going like, oh, where's are they doing drinks already? Because I've been out. Because once I get comfortable and warm, I really don't care.
Do you remember when they would ask you what you wanted on the dinner menu? Would that be steak or chicken? You remember that?
They still do. On an international flight, you do get asked if you want pasta or chicken or something and chicken. It's normally chicken and something else, but you still get asked that.
It used to be steak, and then they would actually take the time to ask you if you wanted it well done, or if you wanted it where it's still moving when it comes out there. I mean, you would actually have an option back in the day.
Yeah, maybe up in first class or business class you would, but no, coach class is like, do you want this or do you want that? And then, you get it, and it is what it is. It's as it comes.
Yeah, but I must tell you, when we flew to San Antonio, I actually got 2 packets of peanuts.
Ooh, lucky you!
I
pushing
felt
the boat
special.
out.
I really felt special. I even said something about it. I said I must have looked famished. Flight attendant just laughed.
I remember on one Delta flight, I got half a bottle of wine poured all over me.
Oh, poured all over me. Yeah.
Yeah. So they ended up giving me 15,000 miles for because I looked like I peed myself. And the attendant was like really apologetic. She came back. She said, "I'm really sorry. I'm going to give you the maximum I can give you is 15,000." I'm like, that's fine, And then after a couple of days, I hadn't heard anything, so I complained to Delta. So they dropped 15,000 straight in my account, and then I got the 15,000 the attendant to give me too. So I ended up with 30,000. I'm like, hey, it's a win,
Oh, that's a win-win.
But for a few hours, I stunk like a brewery because I had wine all over me.
Something. One of my favorite movies of all time is Airplane. The comedy Airplane. I loved Airplane 1, 2, and I think there was actually an Airplane 3. And they were kind of making fun of, and these were things that we thought would never happen, but they're happening now. I mean, it's like they knew what was going to happen in the future.
They were comedies based on the actual airline, airport movies. The airport movies. So remember Airport 77 with the Jumbo, and then there was Airport 80 with the Concorde, the original Airport. I've seen them, and you watch them, and you can see where they pulled the humor from Airplane, because it's just ridiculous stuff that
I thought one of the best parts, they had Jimmy Walker up there, and it was like he was washing the windshield, like he was at a like a service station back in the day when they used to wash your windshields, and Jimmy Walker was up there like spraying and cleaning the windshields off. But it was just a funny movie, and you remember back in the day they used to show full-length movies on an airplane. And pretty big screens too. I mean, it was pretty cool.
That was in the days when they gave you one movie, and if you didn't like it or you'd seen it, you were stuck with it. At least now they give you, when you travel, especially when you travel to the UK. When I flew back, it was actually a newer plane, really nice. I mean, you were talking about a screen that's like maybe that big, and you got, I think there was over 100 movies to choose from that you could pick from. There was TV shows, there was games, there was news. On one flight, I think it was when coming back, I think it was coming back or going over to England last year, in the summer, you could actually, when we were coming into land, you could literally view, because it says with my flight, so you can monitor where you are on the map, but you could also look at the cameras, and there are 2 cameras mounted on the plane, one on the tail and one underneath. So you could actually watch your approach coming into Heathrow over London. And it was like, wow, this is just the coolest thing, because it's like a nice, panoramic view coming in over London as you touch down, and watching everything happen as it happened. And I've only ever been on one plane that actually happened on. But, the entertainment systems, are now second to none when they're working properly.
Yeah, but it's usually a bunch of stuff I never watch. So the last flight we had from San Antonio back home and back to San Antonio, I liked it because it had what you're talking about. It's like a satellite, and you could actually see what the weather was. You could see wherever you are. You could see where we were over, what part of the country you were in, whatever. I actually sit there and watch that. I didn't watch the movies. I thought they were like stupid movies. So I just
what airline do you normally fly?
Delta.
Oh, you fly Delta. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, American very rarely have any screens now because they want you to connect to the Wi-Fi and use your phones or tablets, and you hang that on the chair in front of you and watch your own thing, which is fine.
Oh, you remember the days when you couldn't use your cell phone? You remember those days? You had to turn your cell phone off back in the day.
Well, you still have to, but you can now have it on Wi-Fi, and you can chat on, especially on Apple. You can chat. Text. You can text. You can't have any conversations. You're not allowed to have video calls or regular calls into that phone. And it won't let you. The technology won't let you, but it'll let you text. So you can text somebody, and you can go online and do stuff like that. But you're still in airplane mode because it's only using the Wi-Fi. But it's over 10,000 feet. Anything under 10,000 feet, it's just shut off. As soon as they get under 10,000, Wi-Fi shuts off, and you're not allowed to use anything.
Mm-hmm. But you know something, my whole idea of going on vacation is not using the cell phone anyway. I mean, I don't want to know anything about the outside world. I don't want to know anything about the business world. I don't want to know anything about what's going on in politics because I've already made my choice anyway. So I really don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to hear any of the garbage. I'm on vacation because I want to be on vacation.
I mean, and I understand that. I mean, the only thing that sometimes I want to catch up on is like if my team are playing and a match is on and I could watch it on Wi-Fi, and then like I get on the plane and they go like, yeah, sorry, Wi-Fi is disabled for this flight. And you're like, you're so mad because it's like, why? Every other flight. Now this one, I want it. Because I don't normally go on Wi-Fi. I mean, I'll watch a movie maybe. I mean, and I love watching. My favorite thing to do on an airline is find like the smallest, weirdest kind of movie, because I always end up. There's one right now. It's just dropped. I think it's on Netflix. It might be Amazon, but it's called Bank of Dave. Bank of Dave is like it's a British movie, and it's really just one of those movies where you just go like at the end of it, you go like, wow, that was just such a good story, because it's true. It's a true story. And the ones that I've watched where they based it on a true story are always the ones I like the best. Mm-hmm. So Bank of Dave, anybody wants to watch Bank of Dave, it's a great movie. It's got Rory Kinnear in it, who is, he normally is in the Bond films. He plays Dave, who basically starts his own bank. Well, because the banking rules in the UK are really, really tight. You know, you can't just open up a bank. He had to go through all these hoops and everything. But it helped a lot of people out, and they still are there today. The banks he set up. It's a really, really, really nice, very English movie.
There's a real estate show. Well, it's not on now. I think they ended it the first part of the year. But I loved watching this. It was like out in the country, and people would buy homes out in the country. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the name of it, Out in the Country or something like that. But man, that was a good show.
English or American?
English.
Oh, Escape to the Country. Escape to the Country, I think, is the one you want. Yeah. I've watched, because you can get that on PBS, I think. Mm-hmm. And I've also watched it on BritBox. I've literally watched every episode on BritBox. But yeah, that's great. And I watch it just because I love seeing where I'm from. I love seeing those some parts of the country are just absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm. You know? Beautiful. And it's like everybody has a flower garden. It's just my kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a reality check that, you know, obviously being English and being there, when they show you these places, they are very idyllic. And there are some places that are actually, they blow you away. They're mind blowing. But, you know, when you literally go to England, it's not all like that. Mm-hmm. It's like coming here. You know, people go like, Tanya's brother loves my farm. He wants to do Thanksgiving here this year. He wants to have a band. He wants to have it all in the, you know, the pole barn and everything. And he said, he goes, "You're so lucky because it's so quiet." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, most people, when I tell them I live in Georgia, they go, like, I hate Atlanta. Well, so do I, but I don't live in Atlanta. I mean, if anybody in their right mind would not want to live in Atlanta? The traffic's never changed from like 40, 50 years ago. It's still
no, and they're always doing something to the interstates. Yes. Always.
It's a mess.
And they wait until Christmas to do it. They wait until there are events. They wait until the Braves are playing. I mean, they wait. They do it at odd times.
Yeah, well, they do that in every big city all over the world. It's just like, oh, it's Christmas. Let's do some roadworks. Because they were doing
Democrat run. They don't go by. They don't go by common sense. Let's go into a commercial. I'm going to save myself. Let's go into a commercial. We'll be right back in just a minute. Everybody hang in there. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth definitely matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and worldwide Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say a very special thank you to the Gadsden Chamber of Commerce, Etowah County Chamber of Commerce. They actually air our show at the lobby, and it's a huge screen television every day, 1 to 3 p.m. So you want to catch a glimpse and you just have a minute to drop in by the chamber and you want to join and be a member, go stop by. Maybe that won't run you off. Maybe you'll stay. But thank you again so much for watching. I have Rick Staines with me right now. We've been talking a little bit about how, flights, airplanes, all this kind of stuff has just really changed a lot. I don't know. I mean, really, if you are 20 years old right now and we could take you back in time, you would wish it were that way again. I'm going to say it used to be so much fun to fly. But anyway, so let's talk a little politics, Rick. I know things are just really weirdo-ville, but what's going on?
Well, I actually heard some guy suggest he was actually asking people on TikTok to get this video to Trump. Basically he said, all of these people that were, put out of their houses because of the fires in Hawaii. So he said, because obviously they've been offered, $700 as compensation. But he said basically the banks.
How much money they're being offered?
$700 per family.
Oh, that's going to help me. My house is burned down.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So you've now got the banks literally are waiting to just foreclose on all of these houses so they can own the land, then they can sell it off cheap to rich people, and it ends up the way they wanted it because the rich people want that piece of land because they want to create that one city, that's one of these 15-minute cities they call them. Anyway, so it's basically doing it for the rich. So this guy said, well, what Trump should do is go in there and basically pay all these people's pay them all off. Just buy them, and then buy the land, and then rent it back to them at a reasonable price, because he would then own the land, so he wouldn't be touched. They could still have their houses, and the rich people wouldn't get what they want. And I'm like, what a great idea! And he said, and if you want to hire me, Mr. Trump, great. If you don't, just do this, because it would really just upset a lot of liberals, which it would do, because again, if you look at the evidence of what happened there, was it a natural fire? Or
I think it was by design.
It was design. It was, they do have this technology that they were talking about that people go like, oh no, that there's no such weapon. And you go like, well, there kind of is. And if you look at the burn patterns and where the fires actually happened and what they actually missed, you go like, well, fire doesn't work like that. Fire isn't very, oh yeah, I'm just going to pick this. I'm just going to burn this piece here, but I'm not going to burn it. It burns everything unless you stop it from burning it. But this was it was by design. It was like a designer fire. We're going to pick the pieces we want to, burn. So, you start asking questions, because we already know, that there's the government entity. And again, listening to somebody else today, they were saying the government and these governors, they only make policy. They only lay down a rule okay, well, this is what we have to do from now on. But it doesn't affect them. They have no direct impact. Apart from the fact that they make the rule, there's nothing that impacts them about the rule they've just made. They don't have to mix with these people. They don't have any, anything directly come to do with that. Anything that they've said, we do. The businesses have to pay for all of that, and public have to then pay for all that. We also have to deal with all of that. They don't. They just literally make policy. That's all the government does, is just make laws and policies for us to follow. But it doesn't affect them in the slightest when they make a policy. So
well, what's so interesting? What's so interesting is all the people. Let's just use California. I have friends in California, and they're telling me it's nothing. The people are not what you think they are. What you're being told. So actually, the people in office are actually the rulers. They're the kings and the queens out there running California. So there was like some of this town, some of the cities used to be so beautiful, so majestic, so gorgeous. But now the elites don't live there. Just like you just said, they live on their gated communities, by the way, and they're gated, not even a community. They live on their little so-called islands in California. They don't know what's going on around them.
Yep.
I'm talking guarded, okay? Guarded with guns.
Yep. It's like anywhere in the world. I mean, even if you go to like the Lebanon right now, okay? The powers that be, the Lebanese powers, do not live in Lebanon. They live elsewhere. They live in other Arab countries. They do not live in Lebanon. Lebanon has had money pumped into that for years and years and years. They still have the refugee camp that's never been updated because all that money never went there. It was used by Hamas to build tunnels, to make weapons, to buy weapons, to do all this other stuff. And you still get this other stuff that's pumped out going like, oh, the Israelis have done this, but the Israelis are bad. It's like having a bad neighbor. It's like when you have a really nice house and then your neighbor has 50 wrecked cars in their garden, on their land, and they live in a trailer, and you're going like, yeah, that's what I have to put up with. And they're going like, yeah, but you've got all this money and you've got a nice house. Yeah, but you could have sell all the cars, use the money you sell for the cars to buy a nice house, and you would have a kind of nice house too. We just live in a crazy world. I mean, right now, everything is literally been turned on its head, of how people think. It's okay to be a terrorist, apparently. It's okay to go around and start killing people, killing innocent people. But then when somebody actually retaliates against you, oh no, it's the crime of the century. And it's like, well, if you do the crime, you're going to do the time. And you can take that in whichever context you want. If you do something bad's going to happen to you because you did something bad.
So let's talk about the election, speaking of which. Okay, so we have the Iowa this whole thing is happening tonight. I don't know what's going to happen by the time this show airs. So there are two people actually that are in the seat right now that are just debating each other. I don't say they have a snowball's chance, but what are your thoughts?
To be honest with you, you might as well just keep me up to date with stuff because I have not been watching any of it. I have not.
I haven't either. That's why I've been asking you. I hoped you had, because I watched a few minutes of it. I have to. I'm in the business, but it's just like I have to fight myself to stay awake. It's like two little children in school at a little playground, and they're like, yeah, they're doing this, and I'm not interested in that. I want to hear like real stuff. I don't want to hear what you think of Trump. It's obvious you don't like him, or you wouldn't be running for office.
Yeah. If I was going to be, I was interested when Trump was running because it was interesting to hear him say what he was going to do. And you don't get that so much. There's maybe, one, maybe Trump's two people that do that. And you go like, yeah, okay. But are you just saying this? Are you going, because the trouble is with politics now is no one believes anything that a politician says because they don't deliver. They'll tell you they deliver. Biden will tell you that he's delivered this. You delivered nothing, dude. You've done nothing for the amount of time that you've been president. You've actually messed up more than you've actually given us. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, inflation's out of control. Prices are just like ridiculously, stupid. Crime. No one cares about the crime. And you got the border. I mean, the border itself. If you just took the border problem itself, which you've literally just made umpteen times worth, and you've just gone like, well, yeah, but and you kind of just shrug, and it's so no one cares what politicians say anymore. And it's very difficult because I think that's where they want you, though. That's why they do this, is because they want you apathetic. They want you to go like, just turn off, because then you'll just vote for anybody. I mean, you look at Biden. Biden is they are so pig-headed and confident. They're not even doing caucuses. Right? It's just like, okay, so he's just going to be like the one they're going to elect, because they're not even having any town halls. It's just like, oh, it's going to be Biden or no one. What a great choice. I think I would be quite happy if we had no one. I think we'd probably be better with no one, to be honest with you.
But I've got to ask this question. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. Okay, so let's just pretend I'm a Democrat. Okay, and that's my choice. I mean, you've got to be really serious about this. This guy and his wife has to lead him down the steps now. I mean, it's like, what kind of a woman is she? What kind of a wife is that whose husband doesn't even know he's on planet Earth, and he has to be helped down the steps? And what kind of a wife is this? I would be telling Phil, I would be saying, honey, we've had fun. There's been like 60 years of you being in, serving everybody, which he hasn't served anybody but himself and his family. But anyway, let's just pretend he has. I would say, honey, we've been at this together, and it's been 60 years of this. Let's have some time in our golden years. I mean, probably not going to be a whole lot of time left. I mean, especially when I have to help you up and down the steps all the time. But anyway, can't we just, our last years together, can't we go on trips?
They should do what Nick Saban done. He promised to give it up. He promised his wife to give it up, and he's done that. I mean, the guy has done amazing things. He walks away, and he's the greatest Alabama coach ever. Even over Bear, and Bear Bryant was huge. But I think Nick Saban, in the number of games that he's played and won, there's just, he surpassed him. That's the kind you have to look at and go like, well, okay, enough is enough. I'm old enough. I just want to retire. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that, because I don't think, to be honest with you, the Bidens have got any control over where they are right now. I think they're puppets. They're all puppets. They're just puppets.
That's obvious.
And they're being used, and it's all going to end up just like being bad for not only them but for everybody else. I mean, we're all suffering because of this, And then you've got the other stuff with the Trump stuff, where people are going like, well, Trump's this, Trump's that. We know that. We know what you've said, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And when somebody steps up and goes, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and they do that, he's already turned around. He goes, because I did listen to him the other day. Okay, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop paying all these people for the climate stuff, because we're not going to be paying for other people's problems. But if they don't do it, we ain't paying for it. And I'm like, this is what he did when he came in the last time. We're not paying.
And it was a success. Overnight success. It didn't take years. It was overnight success.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we live in a really weird time where you think that normality. So the other day, Taylor Swift. Okay, and I don't care for Taylor Swift. I don't care. I don't want to see her and the guys she's dating. Oh, they had a kiss at the game. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care if they held hands. I don't care if he put a jacket around her. I don't care if it was freezing cold and she was still clapping him. I don't really care. I don't care anything about Taylor Swift. She was because there was a big thing about her being a pawn of the government, because she went on one of her things and said, you all need to get out there and vote. And there was this surge of people wanting to go vote. And it's like, yeah, because Taylor Swift is like the most marketable thing on the planet right now. I mean, the girl's making more money than she could ever spend in a lifetime.
Yeah, but I don't need Taylor Swift to tell me to vote. I mean, I've got enough brain. I can go out there and vote on my own.
I don't need Taylor Swift to tell me how to do anything. I mean, Taylor Swift is like she's very, very left wing. She's always has been. Okay, and you know, but because she's where she is, because she's adored by all of these teenagers, whether they be little girls or and then grown ass women as well. She has all this pull, and so she's used. I mean, it's like, well, get Taylor to do this because people are going to do that. We follow blindly people that have got no sense. I mean, we follow, people like movie stars. We follow people.
They're not in the real world. They don't face the same challenges we do.
Right. They don't live in the real world. They don't. I mean, whether they have done or not, I mean, maybe for a little time, but they don't understand the week to week, day to day stuff that people have to go through, that real people have to go through. When you're deciding whether you want to put gas in the car or feed the kids, whether you want to pay for your heating or go somewhere or do something or put food on the table. These are real challenges that we have today. And then, I mean, and people are finding it hard because the cost of living is so crazy. And then you've got Taylor Swift making more money than people will ever see in their lifetime on concerts. And then those people at the concert will go, we hate capitalism. Yeah, but you're supporting it because this person right now you're taking your money and giving it to her so she can sing you a few songs and tell you need to vote Democrat because they're good for the people because we need like kind of socialism. And she's living in a little mansion in a gated community out of touch with the real world. And her boyfriend's doing the same thing.
That's nowhere near real. That's nowhere near real.
I don't know. We just live in a crazy world. I mean, when people get upset with me, go like, well, you must have a lot of money. You got a farm. No, I don't have a lot of money, but I've worked hard for it. You work hard for stuff and it's taken a long time. It took me a long time to get to this point, but it doesn't make me rich. And I hate it when people go like, oh, you must be rich. No, I'm not rich. I'm not rich at all. I work hard.
Well, this is what I don't get. Okay, so I can start. I'm fresh out of high school. I can start an entry-level job for $15 an hour working at McDonald's. I would have been working around the clock. I would have been saying, can I do 2 shifts? I mean, you wouldn't have had to have begged me to come into work. I would have went, wait a minute, I have like no job experience. I just graduated from high school. I have nothing. But you're telling me I can make $15 an hour? Sign me up for 2 shifts. I'll take them both.
The problem is we now have a bunch of people that have gone through a period of time where, first of all, you had like rappers who you can put it into, did they have, or, any people that was, selling a message through music, be it punk or whatever, rappers, who were making money hand over fist. Sex Pistols made, £1 million. Their aim was to make £1 million from the record companies, which they did. Rappers, they make money.
But most of them are dead because they're also involved in crime.
Yeah. But then you had the advent of social media and the influencer lifestyle. And the influencer lifestyle is probably the one thing that in this world has messed up so many people because they believe that they can do absolutely nothing and get paid for it. Not only get paid for it, but get given stuff for influencing us towards that product. So you now have a bunch of people that don't want to work 2 shifts at McDonald's to earn money. They don't want to get off their backsides to do anything unless they get paid like, what you'd pay somebody been there like 10, 15 years or a CEO, or they expect to walk into a job and go like, well, I want to be a manager, but they've got no skill about management. They don't understand about the workplace. They don't even understand how to manage people. Not a clue. So you have all these people that have like these lofty ideas, have got no idea of actual life. And that's the problem. A lot of kids, when they left school, they weren't taught about life. They weren't taught any life skills whatsoever. What the workplace was expecting from them, what life was expecting from them. They just thought, well, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go and get my university degree. I'm going to walk out of here. And I've been told that I could earn this much money. And you're like,
At basket weaving, maybe at basket weaving.
Yeah. You're not going to get the money on a lot of the stuff simply because, you know, the best thing to do these days is actually learn to use your hands, learn to be like a tradesperson, because they're going to be the dying arts. Because, you know, having things fixed by actual people is going to be where you make your money. And being able to do things, work like work the land or work on machinery, fix stuff, you know, just do all those things. Because having a degree doesn't mean anything. It really, all it means to an employer is that you've been able to go to somewhere for 4 years or more, regularly attend, and get a result. And that's it.
Yeah, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm Miss Employer. Okay, you've interviewed with me. You say you got your degree. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look on your Facebook page. I'm going to find you. I'm going to look at your pictures from Facebook. I'm going to see the parties that you went to the entire time. Instead of actually like learning how to do something, I'm going to check your Facebook page out. If I say that you have like put like derogatory things on your Facebook page, I'm not going to hire you. I mean, that's another thing people do. They lay it all out on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And then they wonder why they're not getting jobs. Well, it's probably because it looks as if you're probably not going to be a good employee.
Well,
I mean, I'm just placing it on your Facebook page.
Yeah, there is the fact as well that some people just decide that they want to share their life and they say everything thinking that no one is paying any attention. I've had people on my Facebook page that were attached to my boss. I mean, I have my boss on my Facebook page. So they would post something. I'm like, you might want to take that down. They go, like, why? Well, because I said, because one of my friends is Greg, who happens to be the president of the company. And if he sees that because I sent a load of guys, I said, go just do what, you know, go look at places, go find this, go find that, go do what you're supposed to be doing. And one guy went to downtown Chicago and was taking pictures like he was on vacation. Posted it up on Facebook, and I'm like, look, dude, you need to take them down. He goes, why? It's because the boss is here. I said, and I'm sure that he'll see these pictures. And I told him you were going elsewhere to do this, and now you've gone downtown Chicago and taking all these like holiday snaps. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. I said, yeah, and you're a Green Beret. You're ex-Green Beret. So, you know, even the smartest people are stupid sometimes. They just don't think.
Yeah, but I fired people because they would say, I've got to be out, my aunt died. And then you would see a picture of them with that aunt on Facebook like the next day. I've had people, and I would be afraid to say my kids were sick when they were not sick. I'd be afraid God would say, okay, then your kids are going to be sick. I mean, there are certain scruples you need to have in life. Don't use your kids.
Yeah,
don't use your spouse. I mean, don't say your aunt died the third time.
I never put anything on Facebook. I don't even put that I traveled to the UK.
Oh my God! You know what you're doing? You're opening up a problem. You're opening up theft. You're opening up somebody to come to your house and take every single thing you've worked for.
Yeah, I don't put.
We never say anything about a trip until we get back.
People go like, well, you know, I've had people go like, well, you don't even put, you know, this on Facebook. I said, people don't need to know. They know what they know. And if they're that interested, then they get to know me. If they want to look on Facebook to find anything out, they're not going to find anything out. They're just going to find out the bare essentials. I mean, I don't even put where I'm currently am. I think it still has me somewhere else. And that's because I don't care, you know, if people know where I am. I mean, I don't care if they want to think I'm in wherever, then fine. I don't even have my current telephone number. So it doesn't need to be on there. Ring the old number.
This is another thing. When my stepfather passed away, the first thing my mother did was put she was single on Facebook. And I said, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? All you're doing is opening up the nuts to come out. That's all you're doing, because there are people who get on Facebook, they look for what do you call it, spouse died or whatever. So they're looking for stuff like that. They're looking for single, and they're thinking you're going to be a lonely old person. They're going to take you for every dime you think you thought you had. Yeah,
it's very true. Yeah, my mom won't have Facebook. She had it for about 5 minutes. Now she goes, I don't need this. I don't want it. You know, I put her on dating apps, and I mean, because she asked to go on a dating app. So you put her on a dating app, and then she's like, she goes, what is it with these people, these men? I'm like, Mum, men are men. They do things that I said, even I can't explain why some people want to, one, say the things they do, or even send you pictures of the pictures that they want to send you. And you go like, why are they sending me pictures? And you go, because that's just what they think you want to see. And you go,
let me tell you what I did one time. This is so funny. Okay, so if you're religious, they're going to be religious. If you work at a strip bar, they work at a strip bar. I mean, they're going to be whatever you are, whatever you put on your Facebook page. But this is what this guy sent me. He said he was telling me how beautiful I was and all this kind of stuff. And so what I did is I found a picture of Grandma Clampett on the Hillbillies, and I said, "This is what I look like without makeup." I put that on there. And it probably wasn't even a real person. And this is another thing. People will just take anybody on as a friend on Facebook. First of all, if they can't, I always go delete. If I can't see who their friends are, and if we have friends that are the same, and if I can't see their pictures and I can't see who they're affiliated with, delete.
Yep. I base it on, first of all, I go and look at their page, and if how many things they posted up. So it's like on Instagram. Is a 0 posts? Okay, well that's a scam. 0 things on Facebook, it's a scam. Okay, and I have like my dad will go like, oh, you know, I followed this person. They're like, yeah. Did you check them out though, Dad? No. Well, check them out, because I guarantee you when they have a conversation, it's a bot computer generated conversation. I said, so it'll ask you certain questions, and then it'll go like, do you want to see my nudes? Because that's the first thing that's going to, literally after, you know, maybe 10 or 20 questions, it's then going to go, do you want to see my nudes? Okay. You know, at that point, well, you know, maybe I just need to come off this.
Probably not a good person.
No.
I mean, probably.
No.
And then let's talk about the parents who let their 10-year-olds have a Facebook page. That's an open disaster. You're inviting pedophiles. You're just inviting them into your kids' lives. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, it's just that we live in a crazy world. You know, you want to protect your kids as much as you can. And I certainly, I mean, you know, even when Becky and Zach were, you know, 13, we still had, you know, obviously cell phones, early cell phones, we still had control over them, you know, because in those days you had to buy credit for the phones, you know. So you bought credit for the phones, and then you say, well, when that credit's run out, you're done till like the next month. So they would be like very careful about, but you know, it was monitored, and there was no social media. But when social media came on, you know, and again, it's all these other little, it's the ones you don't hear about. It's all the ones you don't. Snapchat's one of the worst ones. You know, TikTok's not particularly good either. You know, there are loads of little things that go on in these, you know, on these sites that we can't comprehend.
Well, because this is my advice for parents. First of all, be nosy. Get the cell phone. If there's a lock code on that phone, take it from them now. Okay. And if they won't give you the lock code, smash a hammer over the phone. Okay. Because there's a reason they're locking you out, parents. There's a reason. Okay. If it were legit, well, then who needs a lock code? But I've seen parents do that. Well, I can't get into little Johnny and little Susie's phone because they've got a lock code on it. Aren't you paying the bill? There should be no lock code. Rick, we got to go. Can you believe this? An hour has just already flown by. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today.
It's always a pleasure, Donna. It's always a pleasure.
It's always a lot of fun. And it's always a lot of fun when you watch the show, too. Thank you so much for watching Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get right on with you. Send any emails. I love to hear from you. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Bye. See you a little bit later. Rick, hang around. I'm going to get a date for you for next month, okay? See you later.